Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Listen, thank you all so much for giving me a little time. I am so excited. I wanted to take some time to talk to you about a victory, a witness, a testimony, and I want to remind you about what we're doing today. Well, listen, I would normally say, this is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Another day's journey. So glad about it. Grateful for you joining us last night on Bible study. But what I wanted to tell you today is we won. Listen, what am I talking about? We won. You remember last year when, under the leadership of Reverend Miles and our sanctification community, we brought in the kiosk, the CPR kiosk. You remember that. And it is a training dummy to help people learn what to do in a cardiac event. The American Heart Association is trying to address heart health, of course, across the board. And one of the things that was realized from 2023, there were over 300,000 cardiac events that happened outside of a hospital context. And the number of deaths that happened because there was just no one trained to do anything about it in that moment. The American Heart Health Association said, you know what, if the citizenry would be trained and know what to do, we might be able to make an impact on what happens with people during a cardiac event. Well, the kiosk was born, and one of the things that they do with that is put it in large traffic areas to get people to play with it. But in order to play with it, you train with it and you learn what to do if you're with someone with a cardiac event. Well, it was at the Wells Fargo Center. And then after it was at the Wells Fargo Center, we made the argument that you ought to bring it into the church. If you really want to get to African American people, you want to get to Black people, put it where we are. And so we did. And I need you to know, here are the numbers. When it was at the Wells Fargo Center, there were a number of 1,490 persons or visitors that came to the machine and practice on the machine, learn on the machine. But you need to know that when it sat in the lobby of Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church, there were 1,769 persons who came. Yes, Wells Fargo Center, we got the bragging rights. We had more people engaged. But do you know what's most important? We also have a testimony at Enon of a husband who, as a result of learning what to do, was able to save his wife's life because he knew what to do after experiencing the kiosk. That right there is more than the 1,700 or the 1,400. I am grateful. It also says when you really are serious about getting information out and into the community, particularly our community, you want to engage, partner with, and walk alongside the church. Now, we're not the only church, but we are one of the churches. Every city has its healthy, relevant, progressive Christian witness, and I am grateful that among that is also the Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. Good job, Reverend Miles, sanctification community. Also, shout out to our IT interns who put a lot of effort into getting the word out about that. And these are the summer interns from last year. So IT, I did not forget you, and I celebrate you. Also, don't forget, it's Wednesday. If you are spending money today, make sure the dollar that's in your hand goes into another Black-owned business hands. Now, remember our message. This is not us against anybody else. This is us for us. I'm not telling you where not to go. I'm telling you today, make sure that you put your money and exercise stewardship in our own community. So then what do I do afterwards? What about if I can't get it somewhere else? Go tomorrow. Let's give some demonstration of our powerful dollars by just holding back our dollars today or spending them in our community. That's it. That's the only thing we're asking you to do. And I want to thank you for the momentum that is building. I was on the phone with my good friend, Pastor Freddie Haynes in Dallas, Texas, and they are doing the same thing. And it is building, and I'm looking forward to what this is going to lead us to. Remember, you all, we're not playing checkers in this moment, and we are not doing something for just a moment. We have to think strategically. You know, the stuff that is happening in our country is going to take years to turn around. Remember this, what we're fighting, the thing that we're fighting, they really got mad in the 60s after the 64 Civil Rights Act, 65 Voting Rights Act, and they worked hard for the next 60 years in order to come back at it. What does that tell you? This fight for us, listen, our generation, if you're my age, right now, we're going to plant some trees whose shade we will not experience. Sit with that. We're working for our children and grandchildren. So this is not one and done. This is a mindset change. And so I want to remind you of that. And let's continue to do what we are doing. Finally, anybody feel like churching tonight? Well, Pastor Kinchin at the First Corinthian Baptist Church is celebrating his pastoral anniversary. And I will admit, I'm kind of excited to go down there tonight with the mass choir, old school Wednesday night worship and church. That's on, what is that, 51st and Vine, First Corinthian. So I want to invite you to join us tonight as we celebrate this pastor, and also as we just get together. And I'm actually looking forward because it's down near, there's a really good Jamaican restaurant that I'm gonna grab some food after. So that's a whole nother thing. Listen, I love y'all much. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Sanctification, Reverend Miles. Thank you, Enon, for being a progressive church. Thank you for showing the power of the local Black church when we put our mind to something. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer.